The first things we kept. A person kneels beside a stream with empty hands. Water is everywhere, but the moment they walk away, it is gone. That simple problem leads to a bigger question. How did the first containers change human life? A container seems ordinary because we live inside a world made of them. Cups, bottles, boxes, jars, bags, tanks, warehouses, even refrigerators. But for most of human history, holding something was a challenge. Hands are useful, but they are also a limit. They can scoop berries, carry a stone tool, or lift a mouthful of water. But hands cannot carry much very far, and they cannot keep things safe for very long. The first containers likely did not look like the clay pots in museum cases. They were probably skins, woven fibers, folded bark, gourds, wooden bowls, shells, and bags made from perishable materials. That creates the first puzzle. The earliest containers may have been among the most important inventions, yet many left almost no trace. Leather, plant fibers, and wood usually decay, while fired clay can survive for thousands of years. Archaeologists often find pottery, but pottery is not necessarily the beginning of containers. It is the beginning of containers that preserve well. Sometimes the vanished world appears as a clue. Basket impressions in clay, residues inside vessels, rare fibers, or storage pits cut into the ground. The evidence is uneven, so certainty is limited. Container technologies were probably invented many times, in many environments, using whatever local materials made sense. Still, the effect was profound. A container turns a scattered resource into a portable one. It lets a person move water, seeds, pigments, medicines, tools, shellfish, cooked food, or glowing embers. Imagine weaving plant fibers into a basket. Each strand is weak alone, but crossing and tightening them creates a new property, space that can move. A basket does not make food appear, but it changes the harvest. A person can gather more nuts or seeds in one trip, carry them safely, and return with both hands free again. That matters because gathering is often a problem of volume. Tiny foods can be abundant, but without a container, abundance stays on the ground. Experimental archaeology helps demonstrate this difference by testing what can be carried in skins, gourds, baskets, and pots. These experiments do not perfectly recreate the past, but they reveal basic constraints. A tool that saves trips, protects contents, or frees the body changes what daily life can include. Containers also change distance. Water is heavy, and without a vessel, movement is tied tightly to springs, rivers, rain pools, and snow. A gourd filled with water or a skin bag at the hip allows a group to cross dry stretches with less risk. It does not remove danger, but it widens the map. For mobile communities, containers had to balance capacity with weight. A heavy ceramic pot might be useful at camp, while a flexible bag or basket fits a life of movement. So containers were not one invention replacing another. They were a family of solutions shaped by mobility, climate, food sources, and social habits. One of the most important things a container can hold is time. Fresh food spoils, seeds scatter, water evaporates, pigments dry out, and medicines lose usefulness when they cannot be protected. A container slows that loss. It creates a pause between finding something and using it. That pause is the beginning of planning beyond the next mouthful. Storage does not require farming. Hunter-gatherer communities in rich seasonal environments have stored nuts, fish, seeds, roots, or dried meat. The key is not agriculture itself. The key is predictable surplus, more food in one season than people can immediately eat. An underground pit filled with seeds is a simple image with large consequences. The food is no longer only part of today's landscape, it becomes part of a future schedule. Pits, baskets, bags, and jars made seasonal thinking visible. They encouraged questions like how long supplies would last, who could access them, and when they should be opened. That does not mean storage automatically produced villages, chiefs, farming, or inequality. The effects varied greatly. Some groups stored heavily while remaining mobile part of the year. Others stayed longer where stored food, water, or fuel made settlement practical. Containers helped make longer residence possible, but they were only one part of a larger system. Climate, available plants and animals, population size, tools, traditions, and social relationships all mattered. A jar cannot create civilization by itself. Still, dependable storage can change daily life. People can survive lean seasons better and prepare for ceremonies, travel, or exchange. Food security is not just more calories, it is reduced uncertainty. A stored reserve can mean the difference between constant immediate searching and a wider range of choices. Containers also transformed cooking. Before durable vessels, people could roast, bake in ashes, dry, smoke, or heat food on stones. But boiling requires a way to hold liquid. Some early cooking may have used perishable vessels and hot stones placed into water. Later, pottery made boiling and simmering more visible in the archaeological record. Clay shaped by hand and hardened by fire turns earth into a heat-resistant container. It can sit near flames and hold water, grains, stews, or oils. Once boiling is available, tough plants soften, starches become more digestible, bones and scraps release nutrients, and meals can be stretched. Residues on ancient pottery can sometimes reveal traces of fats, plant compounds, or other contents. These chemical clues are valuable, though interpreting them can be complex. A pot is more than a bowl. It is a small, controlled environment. Heat below, liquid inside, ingredients mixing over time. This mattered for children, older adults, and anyone who benefited from softer foods. But pottery has costs. It can break. It is heavy. It requires suitable clay, skill, fuel, and firing knowledge. For people constantly moving, pottery is not always the best choice. Durable pots often become especially important where people return to the same places, stay longer, or can store vessels at campsites. In this way, containers are tied to a larger question: how settled is a life? The more people can leave things safely in place, the more place itself changes meaning. A campsite with buried stores, stacked baskets, drying racks, and clay vessels is not just a pause. It is a location with memory and investment. Storage creates attachment because stored things need protection. Someone must know where the pit is, whether rodents or moisture are a problem, and when supplies should be rotated. A hidden cache can support mobility. A visible granary can support residence. Both show the same principle. Containers connect movement with return. They also change social life. If one family or group has stored food, others may borrow, trade, receive gifts, or owe something later. Surplus can strengthen cooperation. It can also create obligations, dependency, or conflict over access. The archaeological record rarely shows these relationships directly, but ethnographic comparisons suggest many possibilities. The safest statement is that storage made social planning more important. When valuable things last, people must decide who controls them, shares them, guards them, and remembers them. Containers also made trade easier. Loose pigment, salt, dried seeds, beads, oils, or medicines are difficult to move and measure without them. A container creates a unit. It makes a substance countable, transferable, and presentable. A jar of oil or basket of grain can travel as an object of exchange. This does not mean markets suddenly appeared. Exchange is much older and more varied than money. But containers help stabilize the movement of goods between people and places. They also protected fragile materials. Pigments stayed cleaner, medicinal plants stayed together, and sharp tools could be wrapped safely. The humble bag may have been as important to technology as the spear or blade. A sharp tool obtains resources. A container keeps them. Weapons and stone tools survive, so they dominate our pictures. Fiber, skin, and wood vanish, so carrying technology fades from view. The past may have been full of soft technologies: nets, slings, packs, mats, ropes, baskets, straps, and bags made and repaired constantly. These technologies required knowledge: which plants bend, which fibers twist, which skins hold water, which resins seal leaks, and which shapes balance well. Such knowledge was scientific in practice, even if it was not written down. It came from observation, testing, failure, memory, and teaching. A leaking water bag teaches materials. A basket that spills seeds teaches geometry. A cracked pot teaches clay, drying, and heat. Over generations, small improvements accumulated: tighter weaves, better stitching, stronger rims, lids, handles, seals, and task-specific shapes. The invention of containers was likely not a single, dramatic moment, but a long set of experiments with holding, carrying, sealing, burying, heating, and protecting. Gourds offered one elegant solution. They grew as natural hollow shapes and, once dried and opened, became bottles, bowls, scoops, or storage vessels. Animal skins offered another. They were flexible, repairable, and easier to carry than rigid vessels. With proper preparation, skins could hold liquids or protect dry goods. Baskets offered lightness and volume for seeds, fruits, shellfish, firewood, and tools, though they might need lining for powders or liquids. Pits used the earth itself as a container. Lined, covered, or sealed, they could store foods at stable temperatures. They could also hide reserves from weather or theft. Pottery added heat and durability. It could cook, store, ferment, serve, and symbolize identity through shape and decoration. Each kind solved one problem and created another. Baskets breathe but leak. Skins flex but rot. Pots cook but shatter. Pits store but cannot travel. Human life changed because people learned to combine these tools. The right container expanded what could be gathered, cooked, saved, moved, and shared. The connection to farming is important, but not simple. Storage may have encouraged some communities to manage plant foods more intensively because saved seeds and reliable stores made seasonal planning deeper. But farming also depended on ecology, climate, population pressures, cultural choices, and many other factors. Storage was a tool in the story, not a single cause. In some places, pottery appears among people who were not full-time farmers. In others, farming developed with many perishable containers that left little evidence. This is why archaeologists avoid a straight ladder from bag to pot to farm to city. Human history is more branching than that. Yet, the broad pattern remains clear. As containers improved, people could separate use from discovery. They could find something now and decide to use it later. That ability reshaped risk. A dry season, failed hunt, or delayed migration became less instantly catastrophic when reserves existed, though storage itself could fail. It reshaped labor. People could collect in bulk, process foods together, and divide tasks across days or seasons. It reshaped memory. Stored goods required counting, marking, remembering locations, and passing information to others. A hidden pit forgotten is almost the same as no pit at all. It reshaped imagination. Tomorrow became something that could be prepared for physically, not just expected. A future meal could sit quietly in a basket, jar, or underground chamber. The evidence we have is partial. Pottery fragments, pit outlines, residues, and rare preserved fibers are not the full story. They are the durable edges of a much softer world. So the most honest answer includes both confidence and humility. We can be confident that containers made carrying, cooking, storage, exchange, and planning more powerful. They helped people manage distance, seasonality, abundance, scarcity, and social obligations. We should be cautious about claiming one origin, one pathway, or one inevitable result. Containers were invented in different forms, for different needs, in different human worlds. Their importance lies in a simple transformation. Before a container, a resource belongs mostly to the moment and place where it is found. After a container, that resource can travel, wait, change form, and enter relationships. Water can cross dry ground, seeds can survive winter, food can become a promise. The first containers did not make humans modern overnight, but they widened the space between need and action. Inside that space, people could plan, store, cook, share, return, trade, and settle in new ways. A container is not just an object that holds things, it is a technology that holds time. And once humans learned to hold time, life was no longer limited to what could be carried in two hands.